Okay, so we'll get things underway here. Can you guys see me okay, Liv and Marky?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Good stuff. Okay, welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us this evening for our first player webinar. Tonight's guests are Olivia Scott and Markela Bejleri. Before we begin, I just wanted to introduce our two guest speakers this evening. Olivia Scott, who's been with Aurora FC, if I'm not mistaken, you correct me if I'm wrong, I think from the age of 7 or 8 years old. She's a former U17 Canadian national team player. She's also part of the Rex program here in Ontario. She's still a Ligue One player with our women's Aurora FC women's team, and she currently plays with Quinnipiac University along with 3 other members, one of which is Marky. So thanks, Liv, for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem.
And our next guest is Markela. And Markela's joined Aurora at the age of 14 years old. Is that correct?
Yeah, 13, 14.
14. Marky is a current player for the Albanian women's national team. And she also plays for our Ligue One women's team as well. And she's also a member of the Quinnipiac University as well. So thanks to both of you guys for joining.
Yeah.
Okay, so first question. Feel free. I'll ask Liv the question first. So Liv, when did you first start playing soccer?
Ever since I guess I could walk, it was always like a big thing, just like with my brother, just kicking the ball around in the backyard. And I guess I started playing house league around like the age of 4 or 5. So then it just really took off from there.
Nice. And how about you, Marky?
Pretty much the same thing. When I was 4 or 5, I started playing house league, and yeah, pretty much the same thing.
And Liv, you started playing house league. Was it in Aurora?
No, it was in King City, but it like moved to Aurora pretty quick. So.
Okay. And Marky, where did you start playing house league?
I'm pretty sure it was like some boys team, like in Toronto or something. Can't remember too well.
Good stuff. What position do you play, Liv?
Midfielder, but like I've kind of like bounced around positions. So with the national team, they like threw me back as a center back, which wasn't too hard to adjust to because like I like playing a holding mid position. So I'd play center back, and then at school they sometimes put me forward a bit more. Like they put me as the 9 for a couple games, which was really kind of weird considering I'm more of a defensive player. So I've kind of just bounced around, but I prefer a midfield.
Yeah, we were actually at one of those games that you got moved to the number 9, a striker role, and Dave and I were both a little bit surprised, but you did well. You did well in that position. Can you tell the girls out there, or any players out there, when you're going through that process of changing positions and coaches having different basically viewpoints on yourself, what can you tell players in terms of how to deal with different opinions from different coaches in terms of your position and your role?
Yeah, so basically for me, it was kind of like I was always dead set, like, oh, I can't play any other position. Like, if I play any other position, I'm going to play bad kind of thing. But then when I was, like, moved, it's kind of just, like, trusting your coach and their opinion because they know best. Like, they're watching the game from the bench, and, like, they see qualities about you that you don't really notice. So I think it's just like trusting in your coach and trusting in yourself that it might be a bit shaky at first, but like it's better for you as a player to be more versatile, and like that will get you on more teams as well, being able to play multiple positions because coaches really like that.
Perfect. Good answer. And you, Marky, what position do you play?
I also play center mid, but like attacking mid, but I've kind of also like floated around there. So I've played holding, attacking. I've even played winger sometimes, but mainly attacking mid.
Good stuff. Next question is, I guess we'll throw it to you, Marky, first. As a student athlete, how do you balance your academics with your soccer? So this is your first year at Quinnipiac University. For those that don't know, Quinnipiac University is D1 school, playing in the NCAA, and they're located in Connecticut. So can you just tell us a little bit how you balance your academics and your soccer schedule?
Well, it's kind of just like setting a schedule and setting a routine and like sticking to it. So like making sure when it's time to do your homework or when it's time to go to class, you're doing that. When it's time to train, you like go do that, and like not wasting any time. So like instead of like spending 10 minutes going on your phone, just get your work done, and then when you're done, you can relax and enjoy.
Okay, and how about you, Liv?
Yeah, it's basically the same as Marky. It's like you do what you got to do and you got to get it done. Because like for me in high school, I was a big procrastinator. Like wouldn't do my stuff on time. I leave it to the last minute. And like just having like such a busy schedule, being at school, I've learned to like get everything done when I have it, and it's just like helped a lot.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your typical week when you guys are in season. So just if you can tell the audience how your season is broken down. Most people think that the NCAA season, or even also Canadian University season, is typically 3 or 4 months, but that's not the case. Can you tell the audience typically how your season is broken down?
Marky, you can do it.
Okay. So I guess like well when we go back, we start in August, and we'll have like preseason for a couple weeks, and like we'll do friendlies, but we're basically training like twice a day, some days once, but some days twice, have friendlies. And then once we get into like season, like non-conference or conference games, we'll have like two games a week, so like a Thursday and a Sunday, and we'll be training every day except for like one day off. And then when that's over, so like our games will officially like end in like November, December. You obviously have your 1 month off, which is like Christmas and New Year's. And then once you get back, you start spring season. So you'll just be training, playing friendlies, and just like lifts and all that stuff.
Good stuff. And do you guys have access to either a personal trainer, or do you have someone that can help you with tutoring if need be?
Yeah. So we have our own like trainer, like specific for the soccer team, and she's always like sending us stuff. And like if we ask her, she'll make like a personalized plan for us. So if like I want to work on my speed or something to get faster, she'll put something together for me, which is really good. And with tutors, there's like tutors available. I haven't personally used them yet, but a lot of people like get a lot of help from them, so that's good.
Okay. Can you just tell, I guess both of you were pretty much in the same similar situation in terms of both you're at the same school, but can you tell us kind of the process in terms of how you went about in your last year at U17 or U16 of OPDL and trying to pursue a NCAA scholarship? What was the process involved?
Olivia, you go first.
It was a lot of like tons of phone calls with coaches like all the time, just like them asking like how you're doing, asking when like the next tournament's gonna be. So it was a lot of like calling them and discussions with them. I also had like a highlight clip made, which I ended up sending to a couple coaches, but it really helps them seeing you in person, because that's when they'll shoot you an email and say, oh, like, let's have a call, let's talk. I didn't do many like ID camps. I know a lot of people do that, but I didn't like do an ID camp until I started actually talking to that school. But yeah, I think it's just like a lot of phone calls with coaches. Might be a little awkward, but you got to go through it.
And yourself, Marky?
It's more just like going to those showcases. So with Aurora, when we went to the Umbro a bunch of times, we went to North Carolina, just when you were there, making sure you're performing well and like kind of having a good attitude, because they care about that more than anything. And like when they call you, you call back, or you email them, just kind of being on the front foot with everything. and letting them know that you're interested.
Okay. Must be pretty cool to have the two of you, and then also we have Megan Phillips and Taylor Dodell, and a past player, Malia De Rosario, as well, playing at the same school. So that must be pretty cool to have some friends and former teammates playing at the same school. That probably helps things a lot more so than if you went to school where you didn't know anybody.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely made the transition easier, just knowing people.
For sure. Okay, so a little bit different question. We're gonna go off track a little bit. Can you tell us who's your favorite soccer player and why?
I guess I'll go. So my favorite player is Messi, obviously, but I've also always watched and loved Iniesta. I'm a huge Barcelona fan. So growing up watching Iniesta, I've always admired his passing, his dribbling, his vision, kind of try to imitate him a lot. So he's my favorite player other than Messi, obviously.
Okay, and so basically you're saying more so because of his vision and his ability to change a game, impact the game, influence the game.
Yeah.
And you Liv?
I'm going to have to go with Messi as well, just because I'm just a big fan. I don't know. He's so good, quick feet, vision. I don't know. It's just so fun watching him play. Just inspiring.
Anyone on the female side in the women's game that catches your eye as a player or stands out to you?
I've always liked Jessie Fleming, just because how young she's been and able to go through the cycle and play for UCLA, and how she's in midfield and she's small but she's so tricky and stuff like that. So she's always been my go-to.
Did you get a chance to play with her, Liv, or is she older or young?
I didn't get a chance to play with her.
And you, Marky, any female players?
For the Canadian team, I like Matheson, especially when I was really young. I really liked watching her. And then I guess I'd have to pick Marta from Brazil because skills, got some, just great on the field.
You guys share similar qualities in your game. Okay, what can you tell our young players out there who are aspiring to one day play at a collegiate level? What can you tell them? Any advice? Any tips?
I think it's just continuing to work hard, especially in these times right now. It's the best. What else are we doing? You can strive to get better. I know we got sent a plan from our team, and we've been working hard, getting touches on the ball, but also running and working out just to try to get better. I think it's always just striving. Don't lose your sense of your drive. So just always strive to be better.
You, Marky?
Honestly, just put in the work, get extra touches, do extra fitness, whether it's showing up to a training session early, being the first one there, getting touches, or even staying after, taking some shots. Just whatever you can do, just work harder than everyone else.
Good advice. Now that we're a little bit on topic with current situation during this time of social distancing, what have you guys been up to? I know we briefly spoke a couple of days ago, and you both are still in school, still doing work. So can you tell everyone how you're managing and how you're staying focused during these times?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a lot harder. I'm not the online school type because just being at home is tough. I try to we have Zoom meetings where our normal class schedule is, and I have classes at 8 a.m. So just being in my bed, knowing that I have to get up for a class is hard. So I try to get up and go downstairs to do my classes. But I basically follow the same routine every day. It's getting up, doing my classes, and then I'll do a workout and some ball touches. And then my family, we like board games and cards, so we're big into that lately. But I guess it's just following this routine and trying to stay on track.
Marky?
Kind of the same thing, just having a routine. I'll wake up early, get all my classes done because they'll be at 9, 8, 12, just in the morning. And then after that, I'll have to go through training, fitness, get all that done. And then once that's done, it's like dinner time already. So it's basically just classes and training and then just killing time.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, we have a few minutes left. I guess we'll open up the floor to any questions. So anyone have any questions out there, feel free to type them in the chat. So question here is, could you ask the girls about why they chose the school they're going to? Good question.
Well, I chose Quinnipiac because it's academics and like the overall like environment and program they had set for like women's soccer. So like everyone's really dedicated to try and make the team like be more successful and grow. And they're academic, like they also allowed you to like do whatever you can to get a good degree and get good grades. So it's kind of like the balance of academics and soccer for me.
And you live?
Yeah, mine's very similar to Marky, but it's like just to add on, it's their like growing soccer presence. So basically like the coach, Dave Clark, right now, he's like a part of the US national team, like their youth programs, and he's got like a lot of experience and is a really good coach with a lot of information. So it's that side, and it's also knowing I was going to get a good education there, as well as like when I went to visit the campus, I hadn't committed yet, and it was just like I kind of fell in love with it. Like it was really like the scenery was so beautiful and everything was so nice. And then on top of that, Marky had committed already, so it kind of like swayed my decision.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Next question. So regarding scholarship, so some people, most people think that you just get a full scholarship, but that's not always the case. Can you tell us how your scholarship is broken down, whether it's partially academic or whether it's athletic? Can you just talk a little bit about your scholarships and how that works?
Okay, so usually when you get offered, like they'll tell you what's covered, but like they won't say how it's covered. So like if they say like you have a full ride, like they'll make sure you get everything paid for. So but it's like it's covered, but a lot of it gets covered by academic money. So like if you get good grades in high school, which is like really important, they can use half of that money to like cover your full ride, which like leaves like more money for the team. So like I think it's super important if you want to have a good team and help the team to also get good grades, because half of your money comes from there. If that makes any sense?
Yeah, I know it does. It does.
Yeah, and just to build off of that, it's like I don't know if Marky explained it clearly. I was kind of confused with what you're saying, but just like if you have academic money on your scholarship, so much more is available for like our coaches to recruit other people. So that's why, and it's good being able to have academic money. And our coach is always reminding us to like stay on top of our academics. Actually, like if we don't get a certain GPA in our semester, we'll be like suspended from the team until we bring it up. So it forces us to work hard.
Next question is, what's your pregame meal? So do you guys have a pregame meal or even a routine or a ritual that you have?
Yeah, well, at school, our games were in like the middle of it was such a weird timing for eating. So we would have like breakfast with the team, and my go-to is just pancakes and scrambled eggs. And that's what I always ate before a game. And then like that would be 3 hours before the game. And then before the game, I would have like a granola bar or something like that, just to make sure I was good.
I think that's what our technical director, Dave DePlacido, eats for breakfast every morning. Pancakes. How about you, Marky?
When I'm with the team, it's kind of the same thing because like there's a bunch of options, but like that's usually what I ended up eating. But like when I'm at home where it's like a late night game, I like to have some like chicken and like rice or pasta or something like that.
Okay, next question. At what age did you guys get more serious and do extra training besides your games and your practices?
So for me, I played like rep hockey for the longest time. Like I played AA with the Aurora Panthers and soccer at the same time, so I wasn't really like too serious about either. It was just for fun. And then I think it was around like 12 or 13, I like quit hockey, decided to focus on soccer. And I'd say around that age, like when I was like wanting to be recruited by the national team because some of my friends I knew who played were, it really like motivated me. And that's when I started really like focusing in on soccer because I had that like drive to want to make it to the next level.
Okay. How did your playing experience at Aurora FC help with where you are today?
For me, it was like being able to be in an environment where you had good players and good coaching staff. So like, I felt like we were training at like a really high level compared to other teams based on like what I saw. So that helped me.
And you live?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So how did your playing experience with Aurora FC help with where you are today?
Oh, for sure. So I think it's just like committed coaches and teammates helping me to like open doors for opportunities. Like I know I had multiple coaches with Aurora, but like CMAC he was like kind of talked to Quinnipiac like Dave a lot, so that really opened up doors. And it's just like the good community and I don't know, like good vibes all the time. Like I enjoyed practice there. Always like a great group of people that really pushed me to be my best.
And you guys had a real special, talented team, that 01 girls group. Next, we have a couple minutes for a few more questions. So next question is, how do you get better and stay fit with an injury? So if you guys ever experienced an injury,
Talk about that one.
What's that?
Let Marky talk about that one.
So I've been injured, like at Aurora, I've been injured quite a bit, unfortunately, but like I always managed to stay fit through like just making sure I did rehab or did whatever strengthening exercises that I could like do. Like Milad and Carlo, so like Ark, they helped out a lot with that. So like I was always like, even though I had like a 2-3 week injury, I only felt like I was actually out for a couple days. So like it kind of just helps by like always doing strength and like rehab.
Okay. What has been the biggest transition from playing OPDL to making the jump to a D1 university?
Oh, it's a lot different. I remember our first game we played in preseason. I was like, me and Marky were talking after saying like, oh my gosh, like how are we ever supposed to play well here? Like we were just so like flustered because it's just higher, like everyone's faster and all those girls in the United States are so much more aggressive. Like I remember I wasn't even able to like turn with the ball when I received it from our center backs. Like it's just pressure on my back right away. It just kind of takes time getting used to, I'd say. Like you have to give it time because it's going to be like a big difference right away, but it like you get more comfortable as play goes on.
Yeah, the style of play is definitely different in the US. Like you touched on, they're much more physical. The intensity, the tempo is much more higher. So I'm sure it took you guys a little bit of time. But that's like anyone, right? Anything new takes a little bit of time to adjust and adapt. Next question, when did you first reach out to a college coach? So typically, how did you guys go about with the whole recruitment in terms of your communication with the coaches?
I guess like it was first started like grade 9, grade 10 when we went to the Umbro. And like after that, like our team played well and like individually played well. And I guess after that, they started like reaching out and then like you would reach out to more. But it all started like grade 9, grade 10 once we started going to like showcases and different tournaments and stuff.
Okay, Liv, this question's for you. Can you tell everyone a little bit about the Rex program? I think you were there, if I'm not mistaken, for 2 years, or was it more than 2 years?
I think it was about 2 years.
2 years. So can you just tell everyone a little bit about how that program was run?
Yeah. So I went to St. Max for high school until grade 11, and then Rex started, and they were trying to get us all to go to Bill Crothers in Markham. So basically, I moved schools for the second semester of grade 11, and I went to Bill Crothers, and our whole team was there. So we were all we would have a meeting in the morning, sometimes lift in the morning, and then we would get a taxi after school. They would take us to the Markham Sports Dome, and we would train. So basically, we were together as a team all the time. And also we had a class. Bill Crothers allows a class called HPA, and it's high performance athlete. So we'd be able, during that class, you get a credit just for being on the our soccer team, and during that class we'd be able to just leave and go train. So it was a lot of training and a lot of work, but I think it helped me a lot, and it opens a lot of opportunities for me. So I'm glad I was there. It was a good 2 years.
And how did you get scouted for the Rex program or even the national program?
With the national program, it was always being in provincials, which they scout for provincials through OPDL. So I would be scouted for provincials, and then they would have national scouts come there, and they would see you play. And then from Rex, I think it was just coming to the games, the coaches coming and seeing me and knowing I was in the national pool kind of thing, and they invited me to Rex. And there was a whole trial week that was a long time, and then they picked people.
And you touched on earlier about how the coaches there had a different viewpoint in terms of your positioning, and they put you more as a center back instead of a center midfielder. So that's obviously an adjustment for you, but when you're playing at that level, you accept anything pretty much, right?
Yeah, exactly. I took what I could get. If that was going to get me playing time, then I was fine with it. It didn't matter to me.
Marky, can you tell us a little bit about how you got scouted by the Albanian women's national team? How did that go about?
Well, I guess it's they kind of have scouts or people in different areas of the world where they know okay, these players are Albanian, and you kind of they check up to see if you're doing well, and if you're doing well, you get a call up. But for them, it's mainly if you played U17 or U19 with them, then you get called up to the first team if you perform and show that you're good.
I like this question here. So if you feel you did bad during a game or practice, how do you not let that affect you, and how do you stay focused? Very good question, Maddie.
With me, it's I am very tough on myself, in the game, especially if I'm not playing well. I always say to myself, right when we start a game, I have to connect my first pass, or else I know I'm going to have a bad game, which is probably not the best way to think about it. But if I did have a bad game or practice, it's kind of just going over maybe why I did bad, why was the practice rough for me? Was it new things we were learning, or maybe it was just an off day? I think it's the way I get through it is kind of knowing that you're going to have an off day, and just remembering how you are as a player, because everyone has that bad day, but you know that you're a better player than that.
Marky? Marky, you never have a bad day, right, Marky?
Yeah, never. I guess it's just knowing you will have an off day, it's gonna happen, and kind of just accept it, and once it's done, it's done. See if you could fix anything, but it's done. Next practice, next game, just keep going.
Good stuff. Okay, we have one more question. Did Ligue One help you get noticed by colleges?
I'll start with that. I would definitely say OPDL, because I went to the showcases Umbro and North Carolina. We went to that one, but I've never really been a League One player for a long time. As you said, I was in the Rex program, so I didn't get to sign with League One. I got to play a couple games with them, but overall, Aurora in general, yes, helped me, and I'm sure League One would too.
You, Marky?
For me, like it also started in OPDL, but like I guess it continued into League One because I first got noticed in OPDL and committed when I was in OPDL. But then like they always check up on you and like like it kind of just went through into League One. So like yeah, it does.
Would you not agree that maybe League One is kind of an environment that helps you prepare both on and off the field for going to university, whether it be NCAA or also Canadian university or college as well?
Oh yeah, definitely it would help because like League One compared to like OPDL or like any other younger teams, like it's a lot more physical and faster and stronger. So that kind of helps you prepare for like the NCAA or any other like higher level league.
Good stuff. Okay. Well, thank you to the both of you guys for joining us. I know you guys are pretty busy with your schoolwork and with trying to stay fit, but we really appreciate the two of you for coming out tonight, and doing this. I'm sure a lot of our players got a lot out of this, and we really appreciate both your times for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you.
And girls, hopefully you're able to take something away. All the young girls out there that watched and listened. And we did record this, so we'll share it with everyone once we get it uploaded. Other than that, we're going to try to do this more frequently throughout the next month or two. But try to stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you all soon on the soccer pitch. Thanks again, Liv and Marky. Take care, guys.
Thank you.